Sal Cincotta, and welcome to the 2-Minute Critique, where we will accept your images, critique them, all in the hopes of making you a better photographer and making you better the next time you're out there creating images. So let's get started. First image up. All right, so let's dive into this. This is a really nice image, but it could be better. And so some mistakes you're making as a photographer, you've got to look out for this stuff. And so what's going on right here? That is the ultimate hair tie. High school seniors, models, females in general are notorious for having this on their wrist. It is a distraction in the shot, should not be there. You are in complete control of getting that out of the shot. Tell them to take it off. I do this every time I'm working with my high school seniors. So that's problem number one. Expression, I actually like this expression. I feel it's pleasing. It's this doe-eyed look, but compositionally, we have got all sorts of problems here. Problems that, again, can be fixed both in camera or in post-production here. And so the problem is right now, she is completely bullseye, right? So if we put our crop lines up here, she is dead center. It is the definition of bullseye. Now, I'm not always anti-bullseye. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Here it doesn't. Why? Because we've got all these insane lines here coming through the shot. Okay, so if we look at this, we've got these really hard lines cutting the shot into 1, 2, 3 zones in the shot. So it's making it a little bit more difficult to enjoy or be pleasing. This is something that cropping can actually help and make a little bit better. Now, I will tell you, I'm not happy that this arm is being cut off here. It's all right. We can still work with that, but there's some things we can do. So let's just crop and see how we can make this a better image. Right? Because ultimately, we want our eye to make it right to the subject. And so what I'm doing here is cropping in on this just a little bit, and I am making this a little bit of a stronger shot. So it's a little left heavy. The branches are driving us up from the bottom left through her eyes, through her face, now framing it. This area right here is not as impactful, so my eye doesn't get lost in there, and I end up coming from the left all the way to the right to look at her. That's how you make it better. All right, my 2 minutes is up. Next image. Okay, not a bad image. So a couple of things that can make this better. I like the editing on it. I've seen this kind of like surreal fantasy style of edit recently that's popping up. I have a feeling in short order this is going to be an overdone style, but beautiful image. So let's talk about what's right with it, because I really do like it. I like the way it's styled. I think you did a great job styling this. The dress fits the scene. If she were out there in a pair of jeans and a t-shirt, it just doesn't make sense with the edit. So it's got that kind of fantastical look. Here's what I do wish. You have photoshopped this image. There's no doubt about it. You spent time, you photoshopped it. Why didn't you add more purple? And so you've got purple here. I guarantee you, now that you're looking at this, you are going to see what I am saying here. All this area, we could have introduced or enhanced the color purple. Why didn't we? Color is just as much a part of composition and part of the shot as anything else. And so color is part of the shot. There's some focus issues I just don't understand. Things like this. What is the point of that? Why is that bright and then focus, but then it's very burned down and kind of muted in these other areas, right? I have no choice but to drive my eye there. It doesn't make any sense on why I'm seeing that. And so blur it out or don't blur it out. I feel like maybe you just applied a blur filter or a tilt shift filter and you've got to control where you're doing that. Again, you spent time in Photoshop on this, so do it right. Now let's get to our subject. Okay, it's going to be a little pixelated. This is a low-res file. This is my biggest pet peeve in the world, hair. Okay, not because I don't have none. That's your first joke. Shame on you. But because it's choking her out. So it's choking her out. Get that hair off the shoulder. Let that hair come this way so that when she looks at you, it doesn't just look like a face. We see some of that open area. Other than that, great image. Time's up. Got to go. Next image. Okay. Again, this is a beauty shot, boudoir shot. Very nice. I've seen it done a million times. So part of that is make sure that you're not just recreating something you see some of the great, portrait artists that you're following or boudoir artists that you're following are doing. How do we make this better? So that's what this is all about. So let's look at some of the things that are wrong. I get it. You went for a silhouette. okay? But there's some things that could have still been done a little bit better here. First and foremost, this little area right here, right? Look how distracting that is, if you will, because it doesn't belong there, right? You could crop that out. You can extend it. There's a number of ways you can fix that issue without losing her hand here, okay? So don't tell me like, oh, if I crop it, Sal, the hand's gone. It's not going to be gone. The hand will still be there. And so even if we crop, right, those fingertips are still there, and we got rid of that. So it's just distracting. We want to make things less distracting, okay? Now, compositionally, this image is kind of driving me nuts here. So if we come back to this, here's what I see. I see a perfectly framed up window, right? In the middle of that window is right here, and I'm not sure this is where I should be going. This hard leading line, I would like to see this is where her head is moved into that area there, right? That's where I'd like to see her head move. How do you do that? You shift left just a little bit, and you would be able to do that. And so these are the kind of things that have to be resolved as we're working on this. You know, ideal world, Photoshop that out. These are 2-second edits, for the love of God. They're just distracting. Get rid of them. And then, of course, the dreaded hair. Why is she choking out here with that hair? Just get it all off. Showcase her hair. Make it longer. Show it here, right? We can have more hair here. And that is how we make that image stronger. Next image. I'm out of time. All right, last image. Here we go. First piece of critique here. This is a poorly lit, poorly exposed image. I'm seeing a lot of noise, and I know exactly where this is. This is at Union Station, more than likely taken during Shutterfest, which there's nothing wrong with that, but you've got to recognize flat light. And so nothing's popping here, right? So if we dig into her eyes, okay, they're just kind of dead here. A lot of noise in here. And so let's add to this, right? So check this out. First problem, right? This hairline just looks completely fake. So let's go to brush. We changed our color here. Let's, in the spirit of this, let's use orange. So what's happening here is this looks completely fake on her hairline. I don't know if she painted her hair that color before the shoot or whatever, but we've got to kind of make this look less fake. So if we zoom out, we can see that she's just got this weird orange line around her forehead. That's distracting from the shot. But the biggest problem I have with this shot is the lack of eye contact. She is not looking at camera. This looks like you were taking it as a second shooter. It does not look like it was intentional. It looks like it was a drive-by shoot. You've got to get that eye contact, because then that changes the shot. There's a difference between my body's here, eyes are here. It doesn't look like she's looking away. It looks like she's just looking at another photographer's camera. And so that's killing this shot. Now, something else worth noting here is that from my perspective, the stylizing of this shoot, the editing of this shoot, it's just lacking any clear direction. There's no style to it. It just looks like a color-corrected shot. Exposure's off. These are basic things that you can start doing to make this image better. That is it for 2-minute critiques this week. Hopefully you've learned something. Get out there, be a better photographer, fix those little mistakes, and I promise you your images will get better immediately.